Am I the asshole for letting my child ride her pony to school? My child asked if she could ride her pony to school last week. For context, we have a small paddock attached to our home where we keep 2 horses, one for me and one for my child. Every morning before school my child gets all of her pony chores done before we leave, and we normally walk to school, which takes around 20 minutes. We live on the outskirts of a fairly populated city where it's not uncommon to see horses occasionally, but we are by no means in a rural village. I agreed to let my daughter ride her pony to school because I thought it was a harmless, fun thing to do, and also it gives the pony some exercise as we had evening plans and wouldn't be riding that evening. We arrived at the school gates and of course gathered a little bit of a crowd, which wasn't a problem. The pony is very good and lapped up all the pats and strokes from kids. One girl came bounding over from the year above my daughter and started shouting at me saying she wanted to ride. I politely told her that she couldn't because she doesn't have a riding hat and she would have to learn on a safer horse. She immediately started hysterically crying and pleading with her mum, saying he wanted to ride. Her mum looked at me with disgust and said, "See, this is what happens when you have no self-awareness and bring a effing horse to a school," and stormed off dragging her kid with her. I was a bit taken aback but ignored her, sent my child into school and walked the pony home. I was talking to my friend this weekend and she said I was in fact the problem and I was blatantly showing off and should have known that this would cause upset and problems. My response is I turn up to the school gates in jodhpurs and boots regularly, so everyone probably knows I have horses. Is that showing off too? All I wanted to do is let my daughter do something a bit silly and fun. Now I am really overthinking it though and almost feel nervous to do school drop-off tomorrow. So am I the asshole for letting my daughter ride her horse to school? Edit: I want to clear some things up. Firstly, I'm based in England. Secondly, the pony never went into school grounds. There is a small patch of grass about 30 meters from the main school gate and we stood there so no child with allergies would have been subject to horse germs if they didn't deliberately come over to us. This also means that I don't feel like I should have run it by the school. And lastly, the pony is an ex-riding school pony. It has been surrounded by kids its whole life and used to do kids' birthday parties and everything. I know animals are unpredictable, but I was 99.999% sure that the pony would be fine and actually just appreciate the fuss off the tiny humans. He absolutely did. Not the asshole. The other parents need to teach their kids that you can't always have what other people have. It is a fact of life. And this is coming from someone that grew up below the poverty line. Are they gonna be mad at another parent for driving an expensive vehicle? If I was the parent, I would just tell my kid, "Look at the pretty horsey, but don't touch it unless they let you, okay?" Not the asshole. That woman blames other people for her clear lack of parenting skills. She has to manage her child's expectations. My husband takes our daughter to school on a motorcycle and it draws the same attention without the entitled demanding a ride and rude response. Edit: to add, would you bringing a puppy with you elicit the same responses? I think not. YWNBTA. Not the asshole eye catching, but nothing wrong with that. The horse is part of your life. My dad used to turn up on his motorbike, when I was old enough, to give me a ride home from school. Nobody else got picked up on a moped, let alone a 750 cubic centimeters motorcycle. I know he was showing off, and he worked in a factory, so he liked to be in the open air after his shift ended. But it was still dead cool. Not the asshole. If you showed up in a really cool car or truck the kids like, does everyone get a ride? You also sound appropriately safety focused, making sure pony is good around people, for example. It is a nice treat if handled well. That mom did not. But what do I know? If I had a pony I'd ride him on my boat. I was talking to my friend this weekend and she said I was in fact the problem and I was blatantly showing off and should have known that this would cause upset and problems. Not the asshole. I disagree about the showing off. I disagree that it would cause problems. No question it would attract problems, But there is a difference between being the target of bullies and causing others to engage in bullying behavior. That is a matter of other people's character and insecurities, not yours for being non-conforming. And you handled the situation correctly. Not the asshole. I might be biased as I do live rurally, but I really don't see an issue as long as the route is horse-friendly, which from your post it seems it is. Not the asshole. Hell, not the asshole. X200B. You kids has learnt to ride, knows the animal and is with you as a reward for doing the chores that come with the animal. Using the school run for exercise is fine, the animal is not distressed and you seem to be doing it safely. X200B. The other parent is the AH because they don't understand animal safety or good manners. X200B. You're breaking no laws, doing nothing wrong and enriching your kid's life. Not the asshole. First of all, I want a pony. Second of all, the other kid is spoiled and her mum has zero self-control. It's your pony, and you weren't showing off. P.S. Say hi to that pony for me. Not the asshole. Think about it. How are you the AH for someone else's spoiled brat throwing a tantrum for not getting their way? And I'm sorry, but showing off? Sounds to me like your friend might be a little bit jealous. Horses are expensive pets to keep. If you were to add up the overall cost and keep for a horse, you could afford a very fancy car. Would you be showing off still if you were to pull up to the school in an expensive car? Your daughter enjoyed her ride to school, let everyone else get lost. Not the asshole. Some people just need to live with that they cannot get everything. Not the asshole. I like seeing horses round town. I live in the Midlands, UK. Not the asshole. That child is a spoiled brat and the parents don't take responsibility for her actions, so they blame others for the child acting out. I feel like it was a little asshole-ish. You're a small asshole. Of course kids are going to get riled up by a pony at school, and while you're not the asshole for not letting the other kids ride, you are an asshole for essentially letting your daughter flaunt the pony in the other kids' faces. There was no need for it. She could have ridden the pony earlier or later if it needed exercise. Not the asshole. Our neighbor sometimes gets the kids with his tractor from school daycare. My father sometimes got us with his motorcycle. I don't see the issue. Not the asshole. Not sure why people are calling the 8-year-old a spoiled brat for asking for a ride and being 8 and crying when told no. The other parent is the AH in this story for talking crap to OP though. Not the asshole. People are so FKN sensitive. I mean, yes, you had to know it was going to cause a stir. If you want to cause a stir at school every morning, go ahead and be that parent. IDK, seems like an unpopular opinion, but I'm going with ESH. The other parent didn't react great, for sure. But I'm not sure what you expected would happen when other single-digit children your child riding to school on a pony. And I'm certain the teachers probably didn't appreciate the spectacle, generally disruption it surely caused in the classrooms that morning. Not an asshole for having horses or showing off about them, but you're the asshole for causing a circus at the school gates. Dropping the kids to school and trying to get work amongst all the terrible parking, traffic chaos and general stress is horrible enough without having to navigate a crowd because someone brought a bloody pony along for the hell of it. Not the asshole. What if you drove her to school in a fancy car? Should children be allowed to demand that they get to ride in the fancy car? Your kid wanted to ride her pony to school, you accommodated that wish, no one else gets to vote on your safe method of transportation. Info: did you really think other kids would not bat an eye? Of course they wanted to ride the pony. Not the asshole. You're not showing off, you're not obligated to give everyone else a chance to access your personal belongings, nor do you have to feel guilty because some parent out there doesn't know boundaries and doesn't teach their child that we don't always get what we want, whether a pony or someone else's things. Continue to encourage your daughter to do her chores and don't let someone else's poor parenting to take away your chance to create lasting impressions and memories for your daughter. It seems you're doing it all the right way, to me at least. I was talking to my friend this weekend and she said I was in fact the problem and I was blatantly showing off and should have known that this would cause upset and problems. Your friend seems jealous of the fact that you can own a horse. You're not the AH, but you might wanna look into your friendship. SMH is a bit off. I mean, not the asshole, you just wanted to let your daughter do something sweet. That said, if I wanted to be an asshole, I would probably ride a horse to school. Not the asshole, the issue is with the obnoxious mother. Sounds like a fun thing to do for your daughter. You're the asshole for thinking the children wouldn't get worked up over a pony. People saying it's the same as a sports car or motorcycle are wrong. Vehicles are cool, ponies are magical, especially to children who don't see them every day. While it's not your job to manage a particular child's emotions, and that kid who lost it sounds spoiled, showing up unannounced with a large animal to school is asking for trouble. ESH, surely you knew showing up at an elementary school with a pony would draw attention. The mom should have a better handle on her kid. I feel worse for the teachers who had to redirect the kids from the excitement of the horse back to the lessons. Not the asshole, but I wouldn't do it again. Even the safest bomb-proof kids' ponies can accidentally step on a kid, or kick if a child comes running and screaming up behind them. I think you might be putting too much faith in most parents' ability to control their kids. You don't want a lawsuit on your hands. Also, some jealous asshole might find out where you live and do something awful to your horses, just to spite you. You could also have someone in a big enough car accidentally running into you and the horse. Yes, some people are that fucked up. I'm on the side of ESH. Dumb of you to bring the pony. Dumb of the other mom to say anything to you about it. I would have just mentioned it to school admin. Not the asshole, and if it were me I'd be tempted to start riding to from school every Friday. Horses may not be a common mode of transportation anymore, but that doesn't make them an invalid one. It's not like you're asking the school to stable the pony all day for you. You live close enough to walk your child to school anyway. I don't necessarily encourage you to be as petty as I would, I'm just saying. Unpopular opinion, but you're the asshole for not expecting a commotion. ESH, but mainly you. You were definitely flexing here with your pony. It's pretty straightforward and disciplinary to tell your child no. It's not harmful to them to hear that. I think you knew you'd get a crowd at the school and you knew there'd be some jealous kids there. I just can't believe you'd be that clueless. You're the asshole. Damn, you must have good horse home insurance to ride a horse to a school of excitable children and not bat an eye. Of course it was showing off. What did you think would happen if a group of children saw a fucking horse? They'd stand there respectfully and then be ready to sit down and do math. Not the asshole. The issue is that they didn't want to utilize a teachable moment on different lifestyles and money and instead lashed out to you. With that being said, I probably wouldn't have, as it could cause a small commotion. However, if you keep doing it, the impact would likely dull, so feel free to keep doing it. Not the asshole. There was no way you could have foreseen that girl's reaction or her mother's response. Just to be on the safe side though, don't do that again. Maybe see if the kids can take a field trip to see your horses and learn what goes into taking care of them, and let some of them walk the horses around the paddock on their reins. Turn it into a teachable moment for everyone. Should you leave your husband at home, too, in case the other moms might want to ride? I'm sad no one has referenced the pony episode of Seinfeld yet. Not the asshole. Woman has no control over her kid, nor emotional regulation skills for herself or the child, and she's mad at you over it. Not the asshole. You did something nice and fun with your daughter, and she'll remember it always. The creepy mother that was rude to you got angry because her child's behavior showed up the lack of parenting and training she has done. Ignore the creepy mother. I live in a rural area. Children and adults are seen quite often riding horses and ponies, though I must admit I've not seen them going to school on horseback. It may happen and I've not seen it. I think it's wonderful, And to all the eco-warrior moms that give the side eye to large cars at the school run, maybe ponies are the